America's man's man here in the land of the New Hampshire primaries. I used to work with a disc jockey who called New Hampshire New Hampshire. This is the insanity of the fake news anchors, the people that talk on television, on the radio. But he was kind of funny, so give him credit for. I've called it that ever since. His name is Dale Dorman. He's actually in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to my knowledge. And anyway, Democrats are whores. Democrats are whores. Whores. There's really nothing else that does them justice. And if you've ever known a whore, unfortunately, and I don't mean in the biblical sense, but the thing about whores is that they're really just another brand of the insanity that characterizes every person that you know whom you don't want to know in your life. And yet sometimes we run into them. And there's only one thing to do when you do run into this type of person, and that is you just have to ignore them to the extent that you can, unless they start bringing their whoredom. Like if they suck a bag of dicks and then they start spitting those dicks at you, then you got to say, hey, all right, that's enough. It's enough whore stuff here. And that's kind of like what the Communist Party or the Democratic Party is doing right now. Is that they have absolutely nothing going for them. And what they do, and I've said this before, that if you see something reported on the fake news, Communist News Network, CNN, MSNBC, and the like, you're better off. You're better off understanding that if the fake news reports something. Remember, this is domestic enemy number one. I was saying this long before President Trump was, but they're the enemy of America. They're the enemy of America. I know there have been people who have said enemy of the people before, and it hasn't panned out. But let me tell you why the fake news is so dangerous. The Democrats, the Communist Party of America, the Democrats are it's a big, as Mitt Romney would say. Mitt Romney, Democrats love Mitt Romney. The communists love Mitt Romney. As Mitt Romney would say, it's a tar baby of a party filled with whores who suck dicks and spit them at everybody else. Planned Parenthood does this when they go into classrooms. They're tossing out condoms for everybody, and that's not too far from the truth, because I went to a communist public school. Remember, anytime you put public in front of anything, it immediately has poop all over it. So I went to this poop-filled school in Linfield, Massachusetts, and because it received some money from the Department of Education, started by Jimmy Carter. Inevitably, it becomes a piece of trash. They were undergoing renovations when I went there, and they have to get the absolute lowest quality materials to renovate the place. I wouldn't be surprised if it blows down, because of all the whores. The whore communists, who are directing all the propaganda, controlling all the propaganda, just like a fake news anchor, like that Kate lady I used to work for at WBZ, who said she was going to bite my fingers off. True story. News director. It's like, can never say anything bad about the Kennedys. Well, Kennedys and I have some mutual friends who beg to differ. I wonder how many presidential Kennedy family rapists are out there. I mean, I happen to meet the victim of one of them, but you wonder how many rapist Kennedy family members are out there still lurking about. I don't like to use the Eastern term karma, because I think it really does not do biblical natural law justice by any stretch. But it's the low information people's way of understanding the natural laws of the universe, the natural order of things. And for the Kennedys, I guess in low information talk, in newspeak, you can say that karma is what happened, and is still happening to the presidential Kennedy family. But of course, as Christians, we don't judge. We discern between good and evil, but we don't. It is not ours to say that so and so is a bad person, because God will judge them, and I don't want to be there for it. So that's why I don't judge anybody. Anyway, so many problems could be avoided. The place where these Democratic Communist Party whores, they're trying they're trying to do another fake impeachment trial. And so, what's the answer to this? They're like that. They're like that girlfriend you had once, and she's a whore, but she has no intention of changing her whorish ways. She's going to keep sucking dicks, and there's nothing you can do about it. And she says she's going to stop sucking dicks, but then she starts doing it again. After a while, okay, well, this girl is, she's just going to keep sucking dicks her whole life and spitting them at people. So, what are you going to do? Because that's what whores do. Whores lie. Whores, and they can't figure out that that proverb. I don't know who said it, so I don't want to misattribute it, but someone famous said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So the Democrats are whores. So why is anybody still listening to the Communist Party of America? We know that they're really communist. We know Nancy Pelosi is a communist. We know that that the Democratic Party is a big whore-filled, STD-laden, Mitt Romney-esque tar baby, and it really. I mean, the term tar baby. It really is. It's a perfect analogy for the Democratic Party. Political correctness be darned, because it's so accurate. It's a person made out of tar, so it's not a real person. It's a person fashioned out of tar to, normally to scare animals away. But there are some communists that this is how they get you. They get the low information people who think fake news is real, who think that the fake news accurately represents things that are going on in the world. They scare them with one thing after another, and if you're not careful, patriotic American, America's man's man, they'll scare you too. They'll scare you. With another bogus impeachment trial. They'll invent some other gimmick. And again, why do they do this? Because they have absolutely nothing, zero. They have zilch to offer America. So they have to come up with some kind of whorish gimmick. It's think of again. It's they're the party of whoredom, Chuck and Nancy. Now Nancy Pelosi is well beyond the days when she could add another a ring or another ring or something like that, like the new crop of whores that they're attempting to seduce today, the Democratic Communist Party, the welfare state that wants to get them addicted to welfare, so that they won't develop good working habits, and that they'll be dependent upon the Communist Democratic Party forever, and then that's how they wreak disorder and chaos, and then suddenly. This is their plan. This is their Marxist vision of America, and eventually the whole thing collapses into anarchy because nobody wants to work, and and there's a Russian Gulag, as Bernie Sanders has threatened, his team has threatened. Why, Fox and friends came to Manchester, New Hampshire during the primaries in New Hampshire Tuesday. They didn't mention it once. They didn't mention that. Field organizer for Bernie Sanders. Twitter bans the video. you might say, oh, they're waiting. Fox is just waiting until right before the election, then they're going to break this. I don't think they have the guts. I don't think they don't. They're Fox News has a pretense of objectivity. But it is just a pretense. At the end of the day, again, so what's the takeaway from all this? You have the dick-sucking Democratic Communist Party, and led by whores. So it's like, again, you just, when you think of the communist Democrats, when you think of the communist, the Democratic Party, the same thing, who want to put you in a gulag, by the way, as the Bernie Sanders field organizer said, and the video was banned. James O'Keefe, the director of Project Veritas, was banned outright from Twitter. It wasn't even a shadow ban. Twitter just axed him entirely. So what's the takeaway here? Again, when you think of the Communist Party, they act like whores. This is what they do, because they don't have any logic. It's the very worst. And I'm not saying, I'm not a I'm not a homosexualist. I'm not advocating homosexuality. I'm not saying that women are bad. But women are more prone to certain types of evil than men are. Men have their issues that they're more prone to struggle with, and women have theirs. And in the case of a woman, it's whoredom is really the worst possible thing a woman can become, is a whore, because at the end of the day, you're left with a bag of dicks, and they aren't really useful when you just got a bag. It's like, well, what do I do with this? Is what the whore at the end of the day. And Nancy Pelosi's a washed up whore, really. She can't seduce. She's beyond the days of seducing anyone. And this is why women should get married, by the time they're 22, 24 tops, because after that it's a desperate vying for attention, and you're just left with the birth control that had altered your personality, and kind of this fake news lie, this all that feminazi BS. But so what are the Democrats doing? Well, they're just creating a new spectacle. They're saying things that don't make sense, and stupid people, unfortunately, who watch the fake news, who watch CNN, Communist News Network, will believe them. Unfortunately, these are the low information people that Rush Limbaugh has famously talked about, and and he's dead on. So. So how do you evangelize the masses? Rush has been speaking the truth about what the fake news has been saying for years. But at the same time, the problem with Rush Limbaugh is that, again, like Fox News, his success has been contingent upon the fake news existing. Because if there weren't any fake news to call out, then there wouldn't be a Rush Limbaugh program, the number one terrestrial radio program in America. Meaning a radio program that is aired over only towers and not like satellite or one of the other competitors' internet, etc. And although Rush Limbaugh has been and the spawn of copycats that exists, for Fox News, etc. At the end of the day, the leftists, the communists are they're still spouting lies. So how do you confront the lies of the Communist Democratic Party? America's men. How do you do it? Rush has not enlightened society. I mean, he's called attention to the lies, but they're still lying. They're still in this is the land of the free, the home of the brave. Well, we really have deeply entrenched communism in our government, and the one thing that prevents that from being solved is that we don't call it communism. We call them teachers' unions who preach revisionist history, and they teach students what to think, not how to think. So, and I was I don't know if I was a victim, but I wasn't a victim because I had better knowledge going into it. I mean, I had some sense that there was something wrong going into it, and I was able to see through the lies just like that. And I didn't realize how deceptive they were, just like I didn't realize how demonic, how evil the fake news was. But I've always been ahead of the curve. When I was unjustly fired from Brookstone because of my Christian faith, for instance, everybody wanted to interview me about what happened, but I saw the snakes at CNN who wanted to put me on television, and and I knew better. I knew better because I knew from my experience in the fake news that the fake news needs good, wholesome Christians to corrupt. Again, they're whores. The fake news is whoredom. They're domestic enemy number one. They want to destroy your family, and they want to reap the profit. They want to take the spoils. It's what they do. Why? Because they're not family people. They're angry, unsuccessful philanderers and gigolos and whores that have been had by gigolos. But at the end of the day, they've given up on anything better, so they all get together, and they out of desperation they stick together like pieces of tar, and they're just so eager that they're always looking to make another hypocrite follower, just like they themselves are. So they become fake news anchors, and they try to scare you. They try to scare you like a big tar boogeyman. They try to scare you via the radio. Now more so in terms of younger generations, they're scaring younger people. Google is a part of this gigantic tar baby of a fake news whore, by the way. And I'm just gonna throw the word nigger in here, just in case you don't think I'm being politically incorrect enough. We'll just Asian babies. How about that? Okay. All right. Asian baby nigger gulag. Anyway, the fake news is all that and a bag of. Not potato chips. I don't. They're bag of feces, of fecal matter that has been expelled from the anus of a homosexual orgy man. And this is what we do in the hub of the universe. Not me personally, but this is again, when you it doesn't stay in your bedroom. What you do in your bedroom is my business and the business of everybody in America, because you're raping the children in the government schools. What I experienced as an astute observer of the revisionist, communist, union indoctrinated brainwashers, my AP history teacher, Susan Breen, my English, I can't even call him a teacher because it's too much respect in the word teacher to use that word, qualters. Bad people, very, very bad people. But they're indoctrinating kids in the public school systems every day. And no, I'm not calling them homosexuals for legal purposes. But there's a... at the end of the day, there's a slow poison drip in society. There's a slow poison drip, a very slow poison drip, but it's a very steady poison drip, and it's been working on the American collective consciousness for the last century, since the advent of broadcast. and that is broadcast news. It's at the end of the day, this is what largely is responsible for for giving credence, for convincing good country people, good Christian people, good Americans like your family that there's some iota of merit in what the Communist Democratic whore party says. The Nancy Pelosi's, that big tar baby, just looking at tar baby for your mind, just trying to get you to reach out to that big lump of tar when you're at your computer. You shouldn't. You're looking at all those. Maybe you're looking at emails from fake news organizations, or maybe you're looking at the Google search results, Gulag News or Twitter, all the FANG companies, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google, and Netflix, Fagin, and Twitter, of course, which is the biggest dysphoric piece of garbage that anyone could ever go to on the internet. You shouldn't look at the Twitter feed, but it's just so it's like the whore is it's like the Nancy Pelosi whore is twitching her ugly toxic waste dump of hips and it's so bloody disgusting, but she's making such a spectacle of herself. It's tempting for good people to, another impeachment. What's this? She's making such it's so ludicrous, it's so absurd that the story, which the only reason you're looking at it is because fake news people are profiteering off the misery of the American people. Otherwise, nobody would bother with this whore personified by Nancy Pelosi. It's like she's gotten a new belly button ring, and even though it's so freaking disgusting, and it's like you know that if you touch that thing, you touch Nancy Pelosi's belly button with all the disgusting things that have been in there. The fake news is advertising, look at Nancy Pelosi's belly button. Look at Nancy Pelosi's belly button. And she's like, impeach the president of the United States. Anyway, it's like, you should touch it, but then it's a headline from the Huffington Post, and it says Nancy Pelosi is having octuplets. And it's like, I don't want to do it. I'm going to click this. You're sucked into the tar, baby. And that's what the fake news is like. This is America's Man's Man, AmericasMansMan.com. Just turn off the fake news forever. Resist the temptation, because the only thing that we have to fear is fear itself. And the number one purveyor of that fear, the number one draining factor in your life, the thing that's sapping all of your energy from you, has nothing to do with chemical imbalance, has nothing to do with the advertising Tylenol, buy more Bayer aspirin and you might not have a heart attack. Then the number one contributing factor in all American diseases is the fake news. And if you just shut it off, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. And America will heal from the specters of boogity hoogie woogie whores and Nancy Pelosi's and the craptastic legion of whores whom Madame Pelosi has employed to star in a weird fake news drama that is not even loosely based on reality, but which is simply a product of the toxic waste dump, which is a whore's vagina. This is America's Man's Man, AmericasMansMan.com. We'll see you again real soon. I look forward to it. I know you are too.